Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Truly welcome back because it has been, it's been about a year. It's been a while. Been posting a lot of shorts and stuff lately. It's just been a hectic, it was a hectic year last year. 2023 was just so hectic. But, I've been talking to myself recently a lot, about what I want to do with this channel. I don't want this channel to just be a shorts channel. I'd like to keep posting reviews. That's what I started with. That's what I want to keep doing. And my New Year's resolution now is just to push content onto YouTube because I really have a passion for this, and I really do love doing this. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna do a review today of this Manix 2. This is the G10 version, because there is a lightweight version. This is actually a sprint run in 15V and Brown G10. Really interesting model we have here for sure. A lot of people surprisingly recommended that I do buy this knife. I've actually gotten comments for it. And seeing as we recently hit 400 subscribers, I've really felt like I need to review this. I have a million knives that I have to review, but this one is gotta be the return of sorts. Like, this is gonna be that first knife that gets me right back into it, because this is one of the only knives that I've ever been recommended in my own comment section. So crazy stuff. Again, 400 subscribers is crazy, guys. I said it in my 200 subscriber special, and I'm saying it now. I never thought I was going to get more than 100 subscribers, so it's crazy. Not to mention, I didn't think I'd get any more than like 100 views per video, and my shorts, my reviews are all getting over 1,000 views. Like, that is mind-blowing. It actually kind of freaks me out a little bit, because I'm I don't handle groups of people very well, and 1,000 people, that's a lot of group right there. But it's awesome. I appreciate it. I love it. And, again, it pushed me to want to do the review on this knife. It also pushed me to buy the lightweight version. I felt the need to do it. Not to mention, one of the people who recommended I pick up a Manix also recommended I pick up a lightweight. So for that one guy that recommended the lightweight version, I got you, buddy. This is the S110V version, by the way, in that navy blue. Love it, love it, love it. Anyways, before I jump straight into the review, I know I'm taking up a lot of your guys' time. I'll make sure this segment is quick. But I did want to put this guy to the side for now. Just put him right over there. And I was going to show you guys a couple of knives that I've got recently. Some knives that will be getting reviews soon. Some maybe not so soon, but I just kind of want to show off. It was my birthday a few months ago, and it was Christmas last month. So we got a lot of new stuff. I'm excited to show you guys. And I think no better place to start when we're talking about a Spyderco than to start with Spyderco. So we got the Gale Bradley 2 right up there. Love that knife. Got the Gale Bradley 1 as well. Found this one on eBay for a pretty solid price. Really excited to review both those knives. Those are both probably some of my favorite users at this point in time. I do also have the gosh, why am I blanking now all of a sudden? This is the Spidey Chef, Oh, come on. And then we also got the Yo Jumbo. I can't even fit it properly on the mat here. I'm going to straighten these guys up so I can put them all on screen. Yeah, this is the Yo Jumbo, which, as you guys know, I reviewed the Yo Jimbo in Crewwear not too long ago. This is the M4JG10 Blade HQ exclusive, so pretty crazy stuff right here. And then, of course, the final thing I'll show off, for those of you who watch my shorts know that I picked this knife up not too long ago, the Swayback. Really awesome knife here. Really awesome knife here. I'm glad I picked one up before they were fully discontinued. If you guys can find one of these somewhere, like at Blade HQ or maybe a local place you have, pick it up. It's such a great knife. Contoured scales, XHP steel, Marcin Swish design. I love it. Anyways, I figure I'll show you guys a couple of a couple of Hogues is what I was gonna say. I ended up getting sidetracked. A couple of Hogues for you guys. We got an H&K exemplar. I was gonna say, what was I saying? Made by Hogue, but it's under the H&K, I guess, partnership. And then you have the Doug Ritter RSK MK1G2, JG10 version, KnifeWorks exclusive knife here. Yeah, really awesome. Collaboration, Hogue and Doug Ritter. Awesome stuff. Amazing pair of knives here. I'll leave these guys out and also whip out the Griptilian. This is the only Benchmade I've picked up in the past few months, so pretty funny stuff. But yeah, Griptilian using custom G10, smooth G10 scales that I found on Etsy. So there you guys go. A little bit of a crossbar lock thing there. And then just one more knife, I figured, because we really got to get onto this review. I've been wasting your guys' time. The Civivi Vision FG in the Nitro V Damascus. You guys can see that there, super shiny, super nice. And the white, kind of cream, I would call it, cream G10 handles with the super lock, which is kind of like the shark lock in practice, or I guess in like a technical sense, where it's you pull it down and the blade falls shut, but it couldn't be more different. I'm honestly really excited to talk about this knife. I will be reviewing that one in the near future. But anyways, we got to get on to this review. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a size comparison. We'll make this segment quick because it's already been 6 minutes and I haven't even gotten into a review yet. So we got the Shaman Blade HQ exclusive M4 and micarta, and then we have the Smooth G10 Crewwear Knife Center exclusive PM2 there. I don't think you guys have ever seen that PM2 before, but yes, I do own a Crewwear PM2, and it's right there. But so this guy's about the same size as both these knives. Comes in a bit shorter than both, but it's as close as you can be without being the exact same. So there you guys go. And then I figure, why not, for why not sake, since it's right here, the Griptilian. Nice stuff. I will say I will be reviewing this Griptilian very soon, possibly after I'm done reviewing this lightweight Manix. But yeah, there's the Griptilian. I'll push these, center these guys up. I don't know why they're all the way at the bottom there, but yeah, they're about the same. Very similar sizes. I think the Griptilian's slightly taller, but yeah, there you guys go. Just those three knives, I think, is all I'm going to do. You know what? For why not sake, I feel like I talked about it a lot. I still got to keep talking about it. There you go. ZT0393. Love this knife. Anyways, moving on back to the knife. Let's get into what I like and don't like about this knife and if I can recommend it for you. So first and foremost, addressing the elephant in the room. Yeah, the 15V. Awesome steel. Super high edge retention steel. It does fall short in a couple other categories that I'll talk about a little bit later, but high edge retention steel, great user steel for sure. If you got a lot of cardboard to break down, you got 15V on hand, whew, you could really tear something up. Like, this steel has been my go-to knife steel recently. In fact, I borrowed my buddy's PM2 for a long while there with the 15V because I love the PM2 15V. But this knife was the first knife to get 15V and arguably is probably the best with the 15V. I like the PM2's carry profile a little better than this guy. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but for the most part, I would say this is the best blade shape for the steel. It's a super slicey blade shape, which leads into the next thing that I like, the blade. The leaf-shaped blade with the awesome cutting geometry, it's just perfect. It's slicey, it's nice. It's also got a bit of a distal taper, so you kind of get the same sharpness all the way down the knife, which is awesome. You also get a super fine edge. It's going to be really hard to see, but there you guys go. Really fine, like pokey tip that cuts tape and stuff like that. Super nice. So that is awesome. I do also love the jimping on this knife here and here. It's really nice jimping. Kind of reminds me of what's on the PM2. Very user-friendly jimping, I would say. So I do like that a lot as well. I love the finish on the blade. It's not, I don't know what to really call it, because it's like a mirror polished, stonewash. Like, if you can see me in the blade, there I am. Like, I'm waving at you guys now. Look at that. It's crazy. But yeah, you guys can see yourself as well. You're right there. But yeah, it's very interesting. I love the blade shape. Reminds me a little bit of what you find on like the sway back that I showed, and then also on like the swish buoy. It's kind of like that as well, with a little bit of difference. Sorry, you guys might see me do that every now and then. It's because this mat really picks up fingerprints and stuff. You know, I definitely need a new mouse pad. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, so I love the jimping. Think it's nice. It's overall pretty solid stuff. And I do love the finish on the blade as well. And then going back a little bit further, you got the Spidey hole here. I do love this version of the Spidey hole. It's perfect sized. This Spidey hole mixed with a really nice action, which I do like. You're getting a really nice Spidey flick kind of action that I can really get behind. I do love it. Plus, it feels like they kind of like rounded off the edges, so it's not as sharp or rough on the fingernails as I feel like some of the other Spidey holes that you'll find. So that's awesome. It's made in Golden, Colorado, USA earth. I always like when things are made in the US. It doesn't necessarily become a deal breaker if something's not built in the USA, but it's always nice to see. I always love the quality coming out of a lot of USA products, and I love the quality that's been coming out of the USA, the Golden, Colorado, USA earth branch of Spyderco. I just think it's one of their best branch. I would argue it is their best branch. A lot of people would argue that the Taiwan Taichung factory might be the best. I think they probably make the best in terms of material, but I would not go so far as to say they make the best in terms of overall quality. I would much rather carry a USA made Spyderco than a Taiwanese made Spyderco, or a Taiwanese Spyderco, not a Taiwanese made. That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, moving back to the knife, I would say, I suppose. Getting back to the knife, you got the handle here. I do love the shape overall of it. It's very, very comfortable in the hand. It does have a couple of things that I'll mention a little bit later that kind of bug me, but for the most part, yeah, very comfortable, which I also really do like the choke-up choil. I'm not usually a big fan of choke-up choils, but in this case, it's very welcome. It fits this knife perfectly. It fits the overall grip very perfectly, so I really do like that a lot as well. I do love the G10. The color is amazing. I would argue this is probably some of my favorite G10 in terms of color. I think I've only ever seen this on the S35VN version of the PM2. Obviously, it comes in all the 15V knives that you can get, but I love this color on my Micarta. It's awesome. I would say this color and this cream color on this Civivi Vision FG, there we go, probably two of my favorite colors of G10 ever. So that's pretty epic. Moving back to the knife, of course. I do love that the hardware is smoothed off or flattened. It kind of is a weird small detail, but I love when they do this at the USA branch. And I don't know if they do this with other branches, but I've only ever seen it on the USA branch. I love it. It makes it so when you pinch grip and stuff, you don't really feel the hardware on your thumb or on your index finger. It's nice. I actually do like that. It's subtle, but it's one of those little things that you get that little enjoyment out of. I love it. This thing is fully lined and, of course, is fully skeletonized. It's not bad. It's not too heavy. I don't know the exact weights, and I don't know the exact dimensions. You know, it's unfortunately not the kind of review tuber that I am, but it's relatively decent in the hand. I would say, you know, obviously the Shaman and the PM2 are both knives that I've carried and loved for many years. I would say, yeah, it's definitely in that ballpark in terms of weight. So that's really, really nice. And I do like that it's fully lined, gives it that extra rigidity. I always get a smile out of fully lined knives, so there you go. The lock. I love the lock, the ball bearing lock, very fidgety lock. I fidget with this thing constantly. And because, although it does kind of seem like it's similar to a like axis lock or a crossbar style lock where you can pull down on two little pieces and close the knife. So it sounds similar to, like, you know, a crossbar lock, but it couldn't be more different. Instead of an omega spring that you get on most of the crossbar locks, you're getting a straight spring. So it's more, I don't want to say tough, but it's definitely going to be less prone to breaking. I did have an omega spring break a few months ago, and I've had a little bit of a bone to pick with Omega springs ever since. I've been very careful with my Omegas, and I've been trying to really oil them up properly because I think that might have been the problem, is I just didn't oil it up properly. But this lock, I have not had to worry about that at all. I've never seen this lock break. I'm not going to say it never breaks, because you say that, and then all of a sudden some YouTuber comes up and is like, I broke my ball bearing lock. But it's very rare. You're not going to probably see it in your lifetime. I'm probably not going to get it from either of my two anytime soon, if ever. So it's really nice. And because it's a ball in there instead of a straight bar that's fixed in place, this guy literally like rolls off the ball and goes shut. So it's super smooth. I would say this version is maybe not as smooth as the lightweight version, but the lightweight version, oh my gosh, I am so excited to review that just so I can show you guys how smooth I was able to get that knife. I did get this one very smooth as well. I would say if not for the fact that the lightweight was so smooth, this would be a super duper, probably one of the most smooth Spydercos I have. So there you go. Keeping it going. I do like that this is kind of a flow-through-esque construction. Obviously, I know up here is not really flow-through, but everything else for the most part is flow-through. It's made it very easy to clean this knife. I do use this knife a lot. And I don't necessarily like taking it apart all the time. I've taken it apart once, but I've never really wanted to take it apart again. So I've just been kind of using a thinner Q-tip and just been putting some oil in there every now and then, really making sure everything's nice and clean. And it's been working fairly well. You guys can see in there, everything's still shiny, everything's still good. There's no rust on the blade anywhere. There's no patina-ing on the blade anywhere. So really great stuff, and obviously the springs have stayed pretty oiled with this kind of cage that they have here, so that's really, really cool. But yeah, I always appreciate when non-stainless steel knives have flow-through construction, so I do like this a lot. Moving on, I do love the size of all this hardware. It's not going to be that stupid T6 stuff. I actually don't even think... I'd have to go check my tools real fast. Give me a second. Let me grab my Weehaw tools. Sponsor me, Weehaw. That'd be awesome. Trying to fishing for a sponsorship in the middle of a review. Yes, sir. Let's see here. So yeah, it's T8 hardware on all this. So you're not getting T6. This stuff will be more robust than those T6s. You won't strip as easy. So I can really, really get behind that for sure. Let me check and make sure this isn't T10. Maybe it is T10. Yep, T10. Never mind. I said it was T8. It's actually T10. That's crazy. Actually, is it just the pivot that's T10? Yeah, sorry. So just the pivot's T10, but everything else is T8. That's not it's not a deal breaker. I'm not going to like all of a sudden be like, I hate this knife for that. No, but it's still cool that they're using bigger hardware. They're not using T6s. I don't think I've ever seen Spyderco use T6s. So I really do like that. I think it's going to make that hardware a lot more robust. So can appreciate that. This is a fully ambidextrous knife as well. Can really get behind that all the time. I love when knives are, perfectly ambidextrous. And this guy, actually, you can just reverse the pocket clip. You don't need a whole new pocket clip. So very nice there. And then I figure the last thing I will mention, obviously there's a million other things I can mention about this knife, but I'll mention one more thing, and then we'll get to what I don't like. But the one thing I'll mention is going to be how this steel came to be. Big Brown Bear EDC is a YouTuber that I actually really, really enjoy. He's a guy who works with steels. He definitely understands steels very well. And he found that if you heat treated 15V to quite a bit higher than you would expect, it actually holds a crazy edge. And it's amazing to me because a company like Spyderco, it's a big knife company, big knife company, probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest knife company. They actually opted to partner with Big Brown Bear EDC to find that optimal heat treatment on the 15V and then put it on some of their most popular models. That's crazy. Never in a million years would I have expected to say, like, yeah, a guy on YouTube who works with steels, he's currently making a production steel. It's probably not like production, but come on now. Like, it came out in this Manix 2, came out in the PM2, came out in the Shaman. it's relatively out there. So it's still really, really neat that a company like Spyderco is working with a YouTuber. You know, that's crazy to me. You know, I feel like the only person that comes to mind when it comes to YouTuber knife guys is Ben Peterson of NAFs, or he was I think he was designing for Civivi for a little bit there, and he was also a part of Benchmade, excuse me. He was also a part of Blade HQ. He was he was doing the Blade HQ stuff when I was actually in like the beginning stages of my knife collecting, and I actually got a lot of advice from him on Blade HQ. So that's kind of neat about Ben Peterson. But this is like the first time that we really ever seen a YouTuber make a steel and put it on a knife working with a big name knife company. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I really hope we do see more of this. I love seeing how these knife companies actually like interact with the community. I think it's really neat. And again, just makes for a really, really awesome thing. I mean, obviously 15V wouldn't have even existed realistically if not for Big Brown Bear EDC. So awesome stuff. Please go subscribe to him. If you guys are this far into the video, please go subscribe to that guy. He's awesome. Now talking about what I don't like about this knife, and I'll try to breeze through this one kind of fast just because most of what I don't like is pretty nitpicky. So here we go. This steel is not very tough and it's not stainless. That's kind of a big thing for me. I don't live in a super humid place, but I do visit a lot of humid places, and every time I visit, I never bring my Manix 2. It kind of sucks. Granted, this knife originally comes in the S30V, which if I were to get that version, I'd feel a little better about it, which, by the way, I like the S30V that comes on this knife as well. Really great stuff. But let's focus on the 15V. Yeah, it's not stainless. That's kind of a big one for me. The toughness, I can kind of just brush away. It is a thing to keep in mind. You got to watch what you're cutting with this guy. Like cardboard, paper, that's fine. But if there's something hard in the cardboard or there's like a staple or something, you got to watch that. It's just, you know, it's a little thing. I feel like the toughness. But yeah, the stainlessness, kind of a big one for me. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Another thing I will say, this jimping down here and this jimping back here, it feels pointless and it doesn't feel good. It's very, like, not aggressive, but it's kind of weirdly lifted up over the scale to a point where it's, like, kind of uncomfortable. This back here is a little better because my thumb is, you know, a little tougher than, I guess, my pinky and my ring finger. But, you know, it's not great. It's not going to be super comfortable on my thumb. It's not super comfortable on these fingers. It's just not great. I kind of wish they didn't do that, but it is what it is. This knife is also kind of thick. This thing is a big, beefy knife. As you guys can see here, it's tall and it's pretty thick this way too. It's thick and it's tall. So that's kind of a recipe for disaster. It's heavier feeling in the pocket because of it. You can definitely tell you're carrying this knife when you're carrying this knife, just because it's not heavy. Like I was saying before, it's not heavy at all. Well, it's a little heavy, but it's not like that heavy. But yeah, just the overall thickness of it and stuff makes it ride kind of not my favorite in the pocket. Speaking of pocket, the pocket clip, you know, it's a standard pocket clip. Okay. It bores me a little bit. I wish they would make a new one. You know, we're in 2024 now. I feel like they've been using this clip since like the 2000s, and I would like to see them change it up. But, you know, it's not a bad clip at all. It's just, you know, you're just kind of getting tired of seeing it, but it's fine. Another thing is this handle feels relatively blocky. The thing is, when you have a thick knife like this, right? Let's bring in the Shaman real fast. These two are very similar in thickness, with the Shaman obviously coming in a little bit bigger. But the Shaman knew that if it's going to have these thick scales, it needs to contour like no other. This is the micarta version, but the G10 version looks just like this in terms of its contouring. That's a thick knife. That's a tall knife. That's a very proud knife in the pocket. So if you're going to make a proud knife it's going to feel proud in the pocket, really I would have liked to have seen them make a version of this that was contoured. You can get aftermarket scales, which, by the way, this knife comes in a lot of different steels, a lot of different colored handles, FRN versions that also come in a bunch of different stuff. That is an awesome thing, by the way. I do love that a lot. But this knife does find itself as a good host for a lot of aftermarket things. And that's just because I feel like even though this knife is good in its current configuration, it's the fact that this isn't contoured, this jimping's uncomfortable in the hand. Like, there's a lot of things about this that I'm just, that make it not as comfortable as it possibly could be. Again, the ergos are fine, but there's just some other stuff that can happen that actually almost completely get rid of the bad things I've mentioned. Again, the jimping, the blockiness, the thickness in the handle, and the pocket clip there. But now I'm just kind of ranting. It's just a little blocky for me. I feel it in my hand. It's only annoying, when I first start cutting with it, but when I just keep going and keep going, I almost forget that I'm not holding a shaman knife. Like I forget that I'm holding a knife that I consider blocky. Like, once you let it set into your hand, like you start doing tasks, you kind of forget about it. So there's that. That was a big rant about a blocky handle, but it is what it is. This little ball bearing cage, really not great. It's like a plasticky, grivery. I don't know what it is, but it's not great. I wish they made it out of a metal, like a stainless steel or something. I mean, what they made these liners out of, anything like that would have been just fine. This plastic just doesn't feel good on the hand. It's the way that it was made, injection molded, whatever it was. It just, the ridges are sharp. Everything about it's just kind of meh. Like, obviously they make the jimping sharp so that it grips in good and stuff like that. And that's good that they did that, because if they didn't do that, I will tell you this would definitely be a slick thing. It's even slick now with the jimping. It's just, that's how the plastic is. It's not the best. I wish they would have made it out of a steel. But you can get an aftermarket version that's just fine. But anyways, I'm going to stop ranting and I guess give my final thoughts. Can I recommend this knife? Absolutely. This is a knife that is awesome. It is user-friendly. It comes in so many different flavors that it pretty much has a flavor for everyone at this point. This 15B version is discontinued. It sucks. You might be able to find it on the aftermarket, but it's going to be like $100 more than its original sales price. Is it worth it for that? Not really. I wouldn't pay $270, $280 for this knife, just because obviously it's like, you can get Maximate that's pretty much going to perform the exact same as this 15V and is going to not be near as chippy. I don't know. I don't think this specific version is worth a $280 price point, but if you can find one for cheaper, I love this version. I'm so happy I bought it. So I will throw that out there, but it's a great knife. It honestly is. And I can recommend it to literally anyone. I am recommending it now to everybody that's watching. If you don't have one, get one. If you love your PM2, your Shaman, but you don't have a Manix, you're like, I don't know if I need it. I have those two. It's so different because of its lock and because of its cuttier edge than the other two. It's worth the buy. It really is. And if it's a little heavy for you, if it's, a little whatever for you, you can always go with the lightweight version as well. I love my lightweight version just as much as I love this version. So it really is awesome. So yes, I recommend it for you guys. Yes, you should go buy one. And yes, I use mine pretty regularly. So with that, I will leave. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate the views. I appreciate that you guys have still been here. I know this is going to be kind of a longer video. I'm not expecting to get crazy views on this one, but I'm just happy I was able to get this review out there for you guys. But yeah, have a good rest of your day. I'm very blessed to have you guys. And with that, thank you.